Imagine the smartest person in your class, never missed an exam. Everyone says they'll hit it big, yet there we see them stuck, safe, comfortable.
I get that too. I used to over engineer everything before it even mattered. It was my biggest curse disguised as a gift.
Why would someone so clever end up staying broke? What's the root problem?
Three traps: analysis, paralysis, perfectionism, ego protection. They're all about being right instead of doing.
Let's break each one down.
Analysis paralysis: smart people read 1,000 pages and still feel stuck. They wait for the perfect data point while someone else just jumps in, learns fast, and moves on.
And perfectionism?
It's the myth that everything has to be flawless before shipping. The cost of waiting is massive because real customers start buying early, not after 2 years of planning.
Ego protection, how does that work?
When you build your identity on being right, failure feels like a public lie. Starting something new makes you publicly wrong for the first time. It hurts more than any technical risk.
So intelligence flips into a barrier. How did you break that cycle?
By redefining smart as moves and adjustments fast, not knowing everything upfront, I stopped chasing perfect plans and started shipping tiny versions to learn quicker.
Any real world example?
Vijay Shakhar Sharma at Paytm. He didn't plan every regulation. He shipped first, then regulated later. The learning loop kept him moving when others stalled.
Interesting. So the key is to act before feeling ready. What's your act first framework?
I call it the act first loop. Step 1: set a good enough line and choose the smallest version of your idea you can ship in a week.
How do you pick that size?
Ask who you need to impress. Pick one real person. Give them a tangible result. Don't plan three features. Start with one that solves the core pain point.
Any tips on handling feedback when it's bad?
See every critic as data. Ask what is the root problem here. Then pivot faster than you'd think possible. That's why I schedule a beginner session regularly. Do something you're not good at publicly.
Sounds counterintuitive for smart folks.
It feels uncomfortable, but the alternative is stagnation. A perfect product never launches. A small imperfect one does and learns.
What about scaling after that?
Scale with the same mindset. Ship a minimum viable iteration, collect metrics, then iterate. Your initial release should not lock you into a design you can't change quickly.
If I'm scared to look foolish, what's your advice?
The first week of any new project is the biggest growth month. Embrace being bad in public, it's cheaper than over engineering that never gets shipped.
So the takeaway intelligence is a tool, not destiny.
Exactly, the world pays for what you do, not what you know. Act first, learn second, and adjust faster.
Look, you mentioned the first week is huge for growth. If that's true, what's one thing I can do right now?
Yeah, so imagine you have an idea but stuck with 100 pages of research. Pick a single user pain point, build a 10-minute prototype, and show it to one friend. That's a quick feedback loop.
And how does that help with the ego protection trap?
When you ship something messy, your ego is forced out of the window. You see real people making mistakes. The only person who can call it a flop is the user, not your inner critic.
I like that. Let's dig into analysis paralysis. What's the first concrete step to break it?
Let me think about that for a second. Use the 5-minute rule. Spend exactly 5 minutes writing down one feature you can ship today. No overthinking, no scaling.
Is that enough to get moving?
Absolutely, after those 5 minutes, you decide, is this valuable? If yes, go build it. If not, delete and move on.
What about perfectionism? How do we set a good enough line without quitting early?
Picture the MVP as a balloon. You let enough air in so it can float, but no more. Set a weight limit, say 500 words or 2 screenshots, and stop when you hit it.
Okay, and how do we ensure we actually learn from the ship thing?
Create a one-page reflection template. What worked, what failed, next action, fill it out after every ship. That's your learning ledger.
What if the user says the feature is useless?
Then you know the problem early and can pivot fast. The key is rapid iteration: build, measure, learn, repeat in under a week.
Speaking of pivoting, does Vijay's story give us a lesson on risk?
Exactly. He kept shipping something useful even after failing 20 times. Each failure was a data point, not a dead end.
Do you think we should also expose our failures publicly?
Yes, share the bad version on social media or your team Slack. People love rawness, it builds trust and attracts honest feedback.
Let me pause here. If you're listening, maybe give us a quick shout. Hit subscribe, drop a like, or share this with someone who needs to see that clever can be cost.
Sure thing, I'll put the link in the show notes for anyone wanting deeper dives into my Act First loop.
Back to action. What's a tangible first step for listeners?
Set your minimum viable user. Choose one person you can convince to try something that's your first real test case.
And how do we avoid over engineering the tool they'll use?
Use the 2T3 core interactions principle. Keep it simple, remove fluff. Anything beyond that can wait until you validate demand.
What about scaling after we learn from the first user?
Scale only if the data says yes. Define a KPI, say 70% satisfaction, and test before doubling the scope.
That's a clear signal to keep or drop. How do you stay disciplined with that loop?
Create a weekly sprint ritual. At the end of every week, ask yourself what was shipped, what learned, and plan next ship.
Right? Like a built in feedback calendar. How do we manage fear of looking foolish in that cycle?
Treat it as a feature launch. Prepare a short pitch. This is our first attempt. Here's what we expect. The audience sees a developer, not an oracle.
You mentioned a challenge earlier. Can you recap the weekly one?
Sure, identify something you've been researching for at least 2 weeks. Ship the smallest version of it to one real person this week. Publish your learnings in the comments or Slack.
Great listeners can jump in right away. Now, could you give us a couple of key takeaways?
First, act before feeling ready. Readiness follows action. Second, define good enough thresholds to stop analysis paralysis. Third, use real users as your debugging crew.
Excellent, that's spot on. Thanks for being with us, Pranay. If you're stuck in clever mode, remember to ship the ugly version and learn faster.
Happy to help. Keep acting, keep learning, keep moving.
Give a thumbs up if you found this useful, subscribe for more founder hacks, and stay tuned next week. We'll explore how to turn failures into stepping stones. Until then, keep building your mindset. This is the founder mindset.